What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Break Room. I've been a Sonic fan for the last 2 decades, and this is the first time in a long time that I've been excited to be a Sonic fan. In the past 2 years, I've never seen Sega put so much effort into the brand before. Yeah, we've seen a lot of marketing strategies from them, but they've never really translated to a boost in game sales or boost in revenue across the entire Sonic license. But as of right now, at this very moment, this is the best Sonic has looked as a brand since the Genesis era. I'm dead serious. I've talked a lot about Sonic's rocky past before, but that was mainly towards the video games. But I've never discussed Sonic as a brand before and reminisced on how far we've come as a community. So come on, take a seat, and let's get started. For the longest time, Sonic as a brand has felt misguided. Each decade up to this point tried to put Sonic in multiple different directions, attempting to see what ideas would stick on the wall. But because of that lack of cohesion, there was always something missing or inconsistent about how Sega was treating Sonic as a brand. But something has shifted within the 2020s, as if a plug was placed into the correct socket for the first time. The key difference between Sonic as a brand in the 2020s compared to the mid to late 2000s and 2010s is that Sonic now has a clear identity. Across a majority of each medium that Sonic has been a part of, Sega now understands how to translate Sonic for each targeted demographic. With the movies having the biggest impact on the franchise, Sega succeeded in not only making a solid movie trilogy, but also pulling in so many new fans who've never played a Sonic game before. Think about it for a second. At no point during the past 20 years has Sonic had this many wave of new fans join the franchise. I mean, there are so many of you guys that have told me you're new to the franchise, so clearly the movies put Sonic on a pedestal he's never been on before. To think it's been 5 years since the first Sonic movie is absolutely insane, especially coming off the initial design reveal that could have easily wiped all of the progress we made so far. When Sega and Paramount finally locked in and gave their all for these films, it really made me realize that Sonic is now back to being a household name. With Sonic Movie 3 alone grossing over $490 million at the box office, to a fourth movie coming out with Amy and Metal Sonic making an appearance, it's clear the movies are going to be the front line for the Sonic Renaissance. Sega's biggest goals coming into the 2020s was making sure Sonic was an always-on brand. Given the lack of licensing opportunities Sonic has had in the last 20 years, this really did a number on Sega when the games wouldn't pull in as much revenue. To put it simply, they had all of their eggs in one basket, and throughout the past 20 years, Sonic was handicapped. If your games lack consistent quality, yet you mainly rely on those said games, your pockets are going to start bleeding out. Yes, Sonic had other ventures throughout the past 20 years, but all of it was either the Archie comics, Sonic X, and yeah, that's about it. I guess I could throw in Sonic Boom a little bit. That show was pretty decent. You can also say merch, but Sega still had to pay third-party retailers to sell that merch, which was more money bleeding out of their already depleted pockets. You see what I'm saying? They weren't in a financial position to make any big moves, nor did they have any idea what moves needed to be made. Why do you think they pumped out so many Sonic games during the 2000s? Because they had to cover costs somewhere. Sega wasn't Funko or Hasbro. They didn't have that type of motion back in the day. They clearly were desperate to hang on to a fleeting industry that was leaving them behind. They didn't have any other additional income source that could keep their flagship franchise from burning to the ground. The circumstances and the mistakes surrounding the company left Sonic in a position of limbo. They treated the franchise with little care and let any game, no matter the quality, be released. During the 2010s, this problem actually flipped on its head. Sega went from being too careless with the integrity of Sonic's brand to being stale and insecure with the Sonic brand. Innovation was the biggest complaint amongst the fanbase. Nothing exciting happened outside of Colors, Generations, and Mania. Everything else was either meh or flat out disappointing. Going into the late 2010s was when we faced a true Sonic drought. It was hard to justify being a fan during this time. Not because there were no games, but because the appeal of the Sonic brand was at an all-time low. It wasn't horrible, but it just felt like Sega weren't either confident or interested in Sonic at the time. I mean, they still were hesitant to invest heavily into Sonic Frontiers. Takashi Iizuka had to beg Sega to give them one more year to finish the game. Sonic couldn't stretch his wings because the publisher that owned the license didn't have much faith in their IP. Confidence and brand strategy is so important when it comes to marketing a franchise, and without a clear idea of how to spread out that franchise, there was no way Sega was going to get Sonic to the standard that he deserved. But thankfully, we're back. We are so back, and I'm not even exaggerating. It's not that I'm confident Sega learned their lesson. I'm more so just happy that they feel confident within themselves. The movies did what they needed to do, but the foundation of this franchise has always been the games. Once they started dropping DLC for Sonic Frontiers, while also addressing issues to improve the base game, I knew something was different. Then they started acquiring other studios that could help Sonic team out, and get a few more Sonic games out the door without sacrificing quality. Sonic Dream Team exists, Sonic Prime exists. Regardless of how hardcore fans feel about them, this is exactly what Sega needed to do. They needed to diversify the Sonic brand and make each branch stand on their own two legs. Sega Hardlight could potentially make more side games after the success of Sonic Dream Team. Sonic Prime has its own targeted audience that loves it, even if I find it just to be okay. I'm just glad that there's more to this franchise that is actually high quality. Despite the difference in opinion, you can't please everyone, and there is enough Sonic media going around for everyone to enjoy. That's the point of this always-on strategy. Everyone within this community has something to look forward to. Everyone gets a piece of the pie and doesn't feel left out of the dinner table. Man, that's not even touching the IDW comics either, and the Sonic Symphony concerts, and little funny side games like the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. See, this is what I'm talking about. We needed this in the 2010s. The 2000s had plenty of spin-offs, sure, but the quality of those spin-offs were very inconsistent. On top of that, no one at Sega was on the same page on what Sonic needed to be. Now though, Sonic as a brand recognizes it's not just a video game franchise, it's a culture. Across multiple different mediums, Sonic has grown 10 times over the past 5 to 6 years, which is absolutely insane. Because of that growth, they can confidently invest more into the franchise and bring more people to the games. I mean, look at the past 2 years, with the Year of Shadow bringing a fan favorite back into the spotlight, with an expansion game, a movie, and an animated mini-episodic series as a prelude to the expansion game. And not to mention that series won a Webby Award. Sega would have not done this at any other point in any other decade. As a longtime Sonic fan, I felt spoiled even witnessing something of that high quality as the Dark Beginning series. It's this level of care and strategy that Sega has actively put into the franchise that is bringing newer and older fans like myself back into the franchise. Now in 2025, we have Sonic Rumble and Sonic Racing Crossroads coming out, with the latter going all out and bringing back classics like Extreme Gear, fan favorite characters like Jet, and expanding on the racing mechanics by crossing dimensions from other Sonic games. Regardless of Rumble's delay issues, and yes, those delay issues are still disappointing, that game is still shaping up to be a huge success for Sega. Sonic getting a big emphasis on multiplayer is a natural next step for the spin-off games. I mean, dog, do you see the marketing for Crossworlds? A whole Red Bull racing collab with actual animation to boot? Once again, this wasn't happening in any other decade after the Genesis era. Advertisements are one thing like what they did with Sonic Heroes, but collaborations that will go all year round until the spin-off game's release date, I've never been more happy to be a Sonic fan. And not to forget Chow Tales, a cute little 1-minute show that was just made into a few shorts, but then they actually turned into a widescreen series for 8 minutes after it was finished. It's just so cute, man. Like, this wasn't even necessary, but it was absolutely needed. Some may think this isn't much, but this is the type of content that'll keep the franchise afloat and the fan base happy. Remember, Sonic isn't just a gaming franchise, so the fans getting a harmless short series about Sonic hanging with Chows is fine to me. I can only imagine how newer fans or younger fans must feel right now. You guys are genuinely spoiled right now, man. It's crazy, but I'm overall happy for you. I'm happy for all of us. This is stuff we wished we got decades ago. A Sega that is financially thriving and keeping our blue boy and his friends healthy, giving them opportunities to shine outside of the games so the games can come back stronger. Sonic has went from a gaming franchise with an occasional TV show and comic to a multimedia Goliath. I've seen so many kids with Sonic merch, like kids at Target with Sonic t-shirts, or Sonic hats, whereas back in the day it was a bit more rare for me. As a result of this, Sega even opened up their own first official store in Shanghai, China, marketing their first solo venture into distributing their own Sonic products. This could completely remove paying retailers to sell their products, which obviously saves money, but now they can go all in on having their own products in their own targeted storefront. Once again, they finally know what they're doing, and they're moving fast. Sonic is at the point where if 2025 goes well, the franchise could reach a point where it becomes a powerhouse, Even my girlfriend, who isn't a Sonic fan, cried when she watched Sonic Movie 3. She didn't even need context. That's how good the franchise is becoming. You could be a casual or a hardcore fan and still get the same level of enjoyment. No one is excluded from this Sonic resurgence. We're all on this ride together. During an interview with INC.com, led by Ben Sherry, Sega's brand marketing vice president said the Sonic the Hedgehog brand generates $1 billion on licensing alone. They also said there will be more collaborations revealed for Sonic Racing Crossworlds in the coming months. Given how much effort is going into this highly anticipated racing game, imagine the next mainline Sonic game. This franchise could be entering an era we've likely never seen before. And while everyone has their personal opinion, if you're a Sonic fan, you'd be happy by how much Sonic is being taken care of. The integrity of the brand isn't hanging by a thread. And the publisher isn't insecure anymore to not put more money into the brand to scale and innovate it. This doesn't make things perfect, and of course skepticism will play a factor in some regard, but honestly, let's just enjoy this moment, man. Everyone is talking about Sonic in a positive light again. It's a moment we shouldn't take for granted. Us longtime fans have been in the trenches already. I don't want to be skeptical out of fear or anger. I just want to be happy. I want to be happy for the Sonic resurgence, and I want to be happy for the newer fans who get to experience Sonic for the first time. We get to experience a Sonic brand that might be statistically bigger than the 90s, and will continue to grow as more material is released. Overall, man, this is the right time to be a Sonic fan. We've seen so many highs and lows with this franchise, but now it seems like there's some stability. Props to Sega for course correcting like this, and I'm so excited for this year's journey with the franchise and the community. Hopefully Sonic Rumble will come out and be a success for hardcore fans, and may Sonic Crossworlds bring us together to celebrate the Blue Blur's 34th anniversary. Until then, I will catch y'all on the next one. Thanks for chilling in the Breck Room, God bless, and take care.